The founders were intelligent people. However, they were also ambitious and had a deep mistrust for each other.
The coup now begins to look more and more like a straightforward military revolt against corruption in government, and one that's likely to last. It has popular backing. What's not so clear is who its real backers are.
In July 1966, after 7 months in power, Ironsi's government was overthrown in a bloody northern counter-coup. The coup started off as a mutiny in Abeokuta, where northern soldiers began to massacre eastern soldiers. It then spread across Nigeria and became a full-scale incident. In hindsight, it is clear that a northern strike was inevitable. Northerners had suffered the most casualties in the January coup, and given that most of the coup planners were Igbo, they were itching to get their own back. Ironsi, who was in Ibadan at the time, was turned on by his own guards, dragged into the bush, heavily beaten, and murdered. 2 northern Nigerians played prominent roles in the coup. The first was Murtala Ramat Muhammad, and whose original plan was to lead the north and take it out of Nigeria to become an independent nation. The second was Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma. Juku in the east immediately rejected this, as even though Gowon was the most senior northern officer, he was not the most senior Nigerian officer. Thus began the events that would lead up to the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War.
We are fighting this war in order to avoid the disintegration of the country into several mini-states, which will become protectorates of foreign powers.
If civil war comes, will the people on the other side, would they surprised as to what they're going to get?
The coup of July 1975 was very different from previous coups in 2 key respects. First, it was completely bloodless. Secondly, it destroyed discipline in the military by making it obvious that anyone with the guts and influence, no matter their rank, could take power for themselves. The man chosen by the coup plotters to lead Nigeria was Murtala Muhammad, the same man who had been behind the 1966 counter-coup. To ensure he did not perpetuate himself in power indefinitely, the coup plotters made him share power with 2 other officers, Brigadiers Obasanjo and Danjuma. In addition, he was forced to appoint specific people into key positions. A great number of the men sworn in that day have continued to rule Nigeria till today. Murtala was dead serious. With amazing speed, he announced the forced retirement of all senior military officers a mass purge of the civil service and parastatals, probes of former government officials, the movement of the state capital to a better and more central location. He changed Nigeria's foreign policy to non-alignment and made it clear he would only make decisions which benefited Africa. He also announced a return to civil rule by 1979. Nigeria had its fourth coup. Murtala Muhammad was assassinated on his way to work in a car without escorts. Gunmen had riddled his car with bullets while he was sitting in the famous Lagos go-slow. Obasanjo committed himself to fulfilling Murtala's transition program, and in 1979 handed power back to the civilians. He then retired to his farm, and the army went back to the barracks.
Last week, Shigari announced a new austerity budget which would have cut food subsidies and other government programs. That apparently was too much for the military. Leaders believe Nigerian civilian rulers were not just incompetent but corrupt. It overthrew Shigari and promised to clean up the government. Nigeria's new leader, General Muhammad Buhari, is known to Western observers. He is considered intelligent, conservative, and free from corruption.
The more ambitious generals who had helped to bring the regime to power had started to wonder why they were not running the country instead. Putting these two things together, it is no surprise that after 20 months in power, the Buhari-Idi Agbon regime was overthrown in a coup arranged by their colleagues in the Supreme Military Council.
I'm pleased to take this opportunity to declare once again, therefore, that this administration attaches the greatest importance to constructive and helpful criticisms as well as the freedom of the press.
Babangida's continuing denial of the presidency to Abiola had put him in an untenable position. He had become deeply unpopular with the public and had lost the support of most of his military colleagues. He had to go, and he knew it. So he went, but in his own special Maradona way, by installing a Harvard-trained industrialist and loyal ally to run what he called an interim government.
I, Anes Adegunle Oladembe Toneko.
But MKO was an unlikely savior. He was part of the establishment. His wealth was a direct result of his close ties with Shagari's government and the military after that. He had even been immortalized in a song by Fela.
This regime will be firm, humane, and decisive. We will not condone nor tolerate any act of injustice. Any attempt to test our rule will be decisively dealt with.
The takeover of Nigeria by 50-year-old General Sani Abacha is an illustration of the quote, "From the frying pan to the fire." Abacha, unlike Babangida, did not suffer from a need to be liked, so he was particularly ruthless in removing all challenges and only surrounded himself with loyalists. His first target was Abiola, who had been going all over the country, declaring himself as president. If Buhari had taught Nigerians the meaning of fear, Abacha completely redefined it for them.
The key oil-producing country of Nigeria is in a state of flux. Its military leader, General Sani Abacha, has died of a heart attack.
And that they now have a very graceful, very fortunate way of retreating to the barracks and allowing the will of the Nigerian people to go forward.
The military decided to heed Soyinka's advice. They appointed 55-year-old Abdul Salami Abubakar, one of the few generals who had risen to the top without holding political office.
A historic moment for Nigeria as Olusegun Obasanjo retired general and chicken farmer, was sworn in to head only the third civilian government Nigeria has had in almost 40 years.